When Bethesda released The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind back in 2002, the game was much smaller than the one they had originally intended to make. Their original vision for the game had been more similar to its predecessor, Daggerfall, an expansive but procedurally generated province with many procedurally generated towns and dungeons dotted around the map, offering a randomized but generally standardized experience throughout a vast land. However, shortly after the initial planning phase, a decision was made that Morrowind would instead be a handcrafted world with unique experiences and environmental storytelling everywhere you turned. Given this new approach, the world was forced to get smaller. It was simply too big to imagine, much less build, in the time frame available. Resources were scarce, the hardware wasn't up to the task, and it would have never fit on a disc anyway. But one team, born from the vision of what could have been, set themselves on an audacious path to make Morrowind the game they had dreamed of. To build the full map, all of Morrowind, not just the comparatively small island of Ardenfell, with an eye for detail, mystery, and unique experiences. No one could have predicted then that a quarter of a century later, that little mod project would still be going strong, much less that it would have overtaken the base game itself in sheer scale and content. Greetings, Outlander, Gitshiver here, and I can't wait to show you what the scrib dragged in today. Thanks to the fine people at Tamriel Rebuilt, we've been given access to an advanced copy of their latest expansion, Poison Song. This update covers a good bit of ground, metaphorically and literally, with new areas pushing closer to Almalexia, overhauled areas in Aanthirin and the Sundered Scar region, and even a joinable House Indaril with the new Ordinator questline. We'll be taking a spoiler-free look at just a small bit of this amazing expansion, so grab your moon sugar, sit back and relax for some of the amazing updates of Tamriel Rebuilt Poison Song. One of the main focuses of the Poison Song update has been to continue the work of revisiting older areas of the project, bringing interiors, exteriors, and entire regions up to the team's modern quality standards, and substitute in new assets and tile sets for older ones, bringing continuity and consistency to all of the mainland regions. The Indaril tile set had been planned for some time, and can now be seen throughout the overhauled areas, but especially in the Aanthirin region. Originally released in 2019, the Aanthirin region surrounding the Tyr River has had a major facelift. This is best seen in locations like Roadir, western gateway to the Indaril lands. The Mournhold-style tile set, now reserved for use in Almalexia, has been replaced with a custom Indaril set, very reminiscent of the one used in the Manor district of Old Mournhold. We can also see this new set at work in other Indaril sites, like Tur Julan or Tilmouth Manor, as well as in many Indaril ruins and chapels on the recently relocated island of Gorn, and in the new city of Nanav, right on the edge of the Sundered Scar region. Several less glamorous architectural updates have been made in the region as well, with the poorer residents of Dondril, Selyan, Rilsoan, and Severi receiving updates to their housing, finally getting out of those little wooden shacks and into some proper Velothi homes. Besides housing, the Tyr River area now sports its own water strider network, allowing players to travel with far more style than simply riding on a boat, making the whole area feel just a little more alien and unique. The updates to the Aanthirin region are more than just cosmetic though, as nearly all quests in the region have been updated after some interesting developments in Old Ebonheart that I'll let you discover for yourselves. The Sundered Scar region just to the west of Aanthirin has received the most dramatic changes overall in this expansion, with new towns, tombs, ruins, and dungeons, as well as major overhauls to existing locations and even an entirely new biome. The Sundered Scar was initially a swampy region, like the Bitter Coast of Ardenfell, but in Poison Song, the area has been remade into a high-level volcanic wilderness, just full of things ready to kill you. This stoically austere landscape fits well with the Indaril vibe, making it no surprise that the headquarters and quest hub of the Ordinators can be found here in the Ministry of Doctrine, just to the north of the new city of Aanthirin. Aanthirin itself is just a stone's throw away from the future site of the megacity of Almalexia, the greater metro area of Mournhold, and the capital of Morrowind. Players wishing to pledge themselves to House Indaril and don the armor of an Ordinator, now without that pesky death warrant problem, should pay them a visit. Moving to the north of the region, we have a town that has gone by many names in the past. Darvonis was once known as Ildrim, and before that, Darnam, which was shortened from Darnam's Watch as it was known back in the days of Arena. Much like the name, the town itself has dramatically changed from what you may remember, enough that I had to double-check my map and make sure I hadn't taken a wrong turn at Akamora. Darvonis used to be a small collection of shacks with 2 unusually well-stocked street vendors and a large underground hotel with the pool hiding in the guise of a swamp hut. Modern Darvonis is an open, spacious town with Velothi architecture and what the locals call a dust market, kinda like a half flea market, half shopping mall kind of place. You know, the kind of place you go if you need a pair of nunchucks, some cherry bombs, and 12 random bootleg DVDs with no questions asked. Speaking of dust, this town specializes in harvesting sulfur from the nearby volcanic fumaroles, which would explain the sudden economic upturn. I was, however, a little disappointed to see that the cleverly named Inside Out did not get to keep the swimming pool of its predecessor, the Windbreak Hostel. Indoor water features aside, both Darvonis and newly minted Aanthirin are both headquarters for something called client houses. These client houses work similarly to the familiar great houses, but on a slightly lower tier. House Darvon and House Aanthirin operate as vassals of House Indaril, enforcing laws and providing goods and services to the Great House, and providing work to players in an area devoid of traditional Imperial guild halls, which seems like a great way to diversify the experience just a little bit more. The Sundered Scar is not a place that takes kindly to outside interference, even from their Indaril overlords, but especially not from Imperial dogs attempting to sink their claws even deeper into the Dwemer's traditional sacred lands and the secrets that they hold. It isn't just the landscape of the Sundered Scar that players may find hostile, as the area is chock full of new dungeons to delve, including new mega dungeons, and one that's finally complete after 18 years in the works. The first of these mega dungeons is Aluni Kamali, a ruined Daedric city dedicated to Mehrunes Dagon right in the middle of the Sundered Scar. This deep and winding shrine complex houses numerous cultists, altars, and bodies. Lots of bodies. A cursory exploration of the area seems to indicate that the denizens are, at the very least, very enthusiastic about making sacrifices, or possibly snacrifices, since many of the bodies have been reduced to bare bones. Next up is Mora Ancestral Tomb, located just west of Darvonis. This tomb belongs to the ancient and now extinct House Mora, with ties to many powerful Dwemer of historical importance, one of whom would go on to found a house of their very own. From the outside, you wouldn't notice anything special about this ancient mausoleum, just the standard arched doorway found on any ancestral tomb. But looks can be deceiving, as this just might be the largest tomb in the entire province. Several hundred individual burial niches can be found within this necropolis, along with many communal ash pits, rivaling even the catacombs beneath Necrom in overall size and complexity. Visitors to the tomb should be wary of delving too deeply. Many secrets lie within, but so do many dangers. Beyond the shores to the north lies another location with significant ties to an important Dwemer, the now submerged ancient Dwemer stronghold of Idaverrano. We won't spoil the story of this place here, as it's best experienced firsthand, but if you have visited the place before and thought it could use some sprucing up, I definitely recommend a return visit. And if you really must know, I made a video on the location before it got the facelift, top right corner, you know how these work. And finally, the thing that I'm most excited to see, the Dwemer Mega Dungeon of Kemelz, finally complete after 18 years. Inside, outside, the whole place has been updated into an intimidating and complex adventure. Most obviously, the whole complex is relocated south from its original position near Helnum. This area received a major landscape overhaul and a new town to keep the Mega Dungeon company. The town near the old site, formerly known as Merog, now goes by Telenoira, with the new Velothi-style Merog taking most of the local content along for the journey, as well as the new island of Gorn, formerly of the Netothril region, now located in the correct spot, as referenced in the Poison Song books. But I'm more interested in the interior of Kemelz, as this is where the majority of the work has taken place recently. Inside is a labyrinth of traps, puzzles, new enemies, and rewards. This is the largest Dwemer ruin you're ever likely to encounter, so definitely come prepared with a quick escape route just in case things go very badly miles beneath the surface of Nirn. We've barely scratched the surface of all the amazing things in this update, like the Ordinator questline, new artifacts, and some very interesting updates in Old Ebonheart. If you're hungry for more early looks at Poison Song, check out the links in the description for more videos by some of your favorite Morrowind creators. Also, don't forget to check out the Tamriel Rebuilt website, Discord, or Nexus mod page for the latest news and to find out when Poison Song gets released. And be sure to show them some love for the decades of hard work and the many years of amazing things still to come. I'd like to thank the Tamriel Rebuilt team for the early access, as well as our amazing community of supporters. If you enjoyed this video, we have many more covering all things Morrowind, as well as weekly streams, mostly in Tamriel Rebuilt, with dozens of stream recordings on our channel as well. Until next time, I've been GitChiver. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Several less glamorous agricultural. Besides housing, the Tear River area now This exterior reset also includes changes to the nearby town that I cannot pronounce. Telenoira. I hope. As well as the new island of Gorn, formerly of the Netothril. I cannot say this word.